Hey guys, I'm at Super 8 Motel at Delville, Virginia, and it's raining. Can you believe that? Hiker knows all about rain, and I've caught a couple. This is a crazy story that we're going to get ready to tell you about as we came into the Super 8 last night to get a room just to get away from the rain and not have to sleep in the back of my truck last night. And here we are, get up, go get some coffee in the Super 8, and I'll catch me some hikers. Let's find out something about them. Tell us your name or trail name or anything you want to tell us.
I'm Jay Bird, and I live in Chicago, but I grew up in West Virginia.
Jay Bird, when did you start hiking?
May 3rd, I started this hike in Springer.
And what made you decide to hike the Appalachian Trail?
It's been on my bucket list for a while. I'm kind of doing it as a tribute to my mom, who is from Appalachia. And I had a big birthday. I turned 60 a couple weeks ago.
How is it being 60 years old out here on the Appalachian Trail?
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Tell us about the last couple of days hiking across Tinker Cliffs, Maccabee Knob, and...
Maccabee Knob and Tinker Cliffs are probably my favorite segment so far. I really love it, especially Tinker Cliffs, walking along the ledge, no obstructed vision, just beautiful. And it was a perfect day for hiking. The weather was absolutely perfect, nice breeze. Could have asked for anything better, and I got in 24 miles that day.
Now, did I just ask you how you got your trail name?
No, you didn't.
Okay, why don't we do that?
I didn't get my trail name in a regular way. It's actually a family nickname.
Okay, so you've been having it a long time.
I have.
Okay, now the day before that great day yesterday, tell me about that day.
That was one of the hardest days I've had on the trail.
Oh, so it was hard and then it was easy.
Well, yeah, somewhat. I don't know that the trail is ever really easy. The trail is actually quite unforgiving, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. And the day before yesterday, I don't love climbing over rocks, especially when they're wet and slippery. And there are some really tough sections of that tour, or the tough sections of that hike. You know, when you've got handles built into the rock, you know that it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. First time you've seen rebar too, I believe.
On the trail.
Yeah, on the trail.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of when I've done some hiking up at Acadia National Park at Mount Desert Island in Maine.
Right. Now, you also stayed at Four Pines Hostel night before last, or one night, and you said there was maybe 18 people there?
At least.
Now, listen what's happening behind me. Every time I interview a hiker, I think every time I interview a hiker, I get a dumpster getting emptied or a train coming by me or something like that. We're going to get back to our video though. You just told me a few minutes while we were drinking coffee that you're getting ready to go to Waynesboro and get off the trail or flip or...
That's right, yeah. And when I've explained this to people, it's not that I'm so smart that I figured out exactly how to do it. It's just that for personal and work reasons, I've got to get off the trail on the 3rd of July. I'm actually headed up to the Berkshires for a few days, and I'll go from there to Maine and be at Katahdin on the 8th. And just the way it worked out, it's going to be perfect timing for me because I'll miss the bad weather, and I've got basically from July 8th to the 22nd of October to get back down to Waynesboro to finish my hike.
Okay. Now, what kind of a crowd's been around you? Because I've been up north. I haven't been down here at this time of the year this year. So how many people have been around y'all? Has the shelters been full or anything like that?
Well, yes. There have been several times that I couldn't get in the shelter, and I actually don't like to sleep in the shelter. I much prefer to sleep in my own tent. But when you have inclement weather, and we went through a good 5 to 10 days of nothing but rain, lots of times the shelters were full.
Okay.
But we're definitely not a part of the bubble. We're after the bubble, which I'm really thankful for.
But are you seeing a lot of people that are not through hikers that maybe are just section hiking or anything?
Mostly on the weekends.
Okay.
I see a lot of day hikers on the weekends, and occasionally day hikers during the week. But
okay.
You know, when the weather's not so good, they're not out there so much.
Okay. Starting later than earlier, do you see the benefit of starting later during the year? Like you did versus the guys that had to go through the snow and all?
And originally I wanted to start 1st of April like everybody else and his brother, and I'm glad I didn't because this year the spring was still winter. So I've heard horror stories about people getting to water sources and having to melt snow for water. and when the snow started to melt, having to hike in basically a frozen creek, with really cold water. So I feel like, again, I just got super lucky because it was for other reasons that I had to start later, and the timing is going to be nice.
Well, the trail works out itself for each individual, and it sounds like it's worked out for you this year.
One of the things that I wasn't expecting that I've really enjoyed is connection with livestock. There are a couple of places where you go through grazing pastures, so cattle, wild horses, longhorn steer, and one fun place that I did stay overnight, I tented in an alpaca farm.
Okay.
And that was pretty cool too. So the people I met on the trail and off the trail have been incredible. And when I first started this hike, I was really in the mindset of miles and distance. And about 2 weeks into it, I met two women who were hiking together who were telling me, Jay Bird, if you're not getting off the trail, you're missing half the experience. And they couldn't have been more right. So the first time I got off the hike was in Hiawassee. Yeah. And I also went into Holland. Okay. And from that point on, I made it a point to get off the trail every so often so I can get a taste of the local communities.
Very good.
The trail passes by, and that's been such a great piece of the whole experience. Like I said earlier, I'm from West Virginia, so this has really reconnected me in a big way with the East Coast. Now I just want to go live on a farm. Yeah,
well, I'm glad you brought that to our attention, because a lot of people are hiking way too fast. They don't see much that's off the trail. And there can be a lot of great experiences right off the trail. And so I'm glad you shared that with us. Anything else you might want to share with us or say hello to somebody out there before we close it out?
No, I'd just say that anybody who's thinking about doing it, it's an experience that has far exceeded any expectations I ever had. And a lot of people have asked me, I remember a guy asked me before I left for this hike, what is it you're making space for? And I couldn't really answer him. And when I thought about it, I'm like, I'm making space for reflection, for reconnection with core values, for prioritizing and thinking about what's important in life. What took me by surprise is that I didn't think grief was going to be a part of it, and I think as not to be sexist, but as men we have a harder time grieving than women.
Yes.
And I found several days on the hike that I was thinking about people I've loved and lost. And it was an opportunity to try and get some of that stuff out. But as I said before, I turned 60 on this hike, and this has probably been the best therapy I've ever done in my life. So I was telling someone the other day, I've had plenty of days walking in solitude, and I've unpacked a lot of baggage that I accumulated in the last 60 years. So I'm feeling pretty happy right now.
Yeah, you got a lot of time to think out here.
Yes, you do.
Anybody you want to say hello to then before we close it out?
Just to my family and to all the friends who have supported me on this journey. Much appreciated. I'm really grateful.
God bless every step between here and Katahdin, and hope we get to see a picture when you climb up on that big old sign.
Thank you, Chip.
Thank you. Okay, guys, we got another person I'm getting ready to talk to, and this is going to be kind of interesting because I'm going to have to explain a little bit of this after I ask her name and all. I'm going to just kind of zoom in and find out who we got here. Give us your name.
Yeah, Savage Butterfly, but they call me Savage.
Savage Blood. Give me why you got that name, Savage.
Savage, a lot of times whenever I first came out here, I said, well, we're just a bunch of savage beasts out here, and there was a gentleman that said, that sounds like a good trail name, Savage. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. And then the butterfly came about recently because the butterflies, coming out this time of year, they don't want to leave me alone. They're always on my pack or landing on my arm. Maybe they think, this is real flowers. So somebody said, you should have Savage Butterfly, and so that's what it's been.
Well, something happened between you and I that hadn't happened to me on the trail yet. We had come about 10 hours of driving yesterday. We are in Delville, still at the Super 8 motel. We were trying to get a room so we could rest to finally get back to Tennessee. I walk up the stairs and walk into my room, and I see this girl that's got a towel wrapped around her, got her head wrapped in a towel, and I'm thinking, what in the world's going on? And she goes to hollering, Mr. Jimmy, Mr. Jimmy. And I'm like, what in the world? Who is this? Tell me, how in the world did you know who I was? Because I'm not on camera very much.
Well, I've just watched a lot of YouTube, researching the trail before hitting it, and your videos was definitely one that was very helpful. So there was a couple of times, I remember there was one, you were sitting on a swing.
Yeah.
And talking about,
one of the few,
turning the camera on you. So, and your voice, can't forget your voice.
Okay.
So, yeah, I really do appreciate your videos. They're great. It's nice hearing what other hikers have to say, and that's our best tool out here is learning. So, it's absolutely wonderful to meet you, Mr. Jimmy.
And my wife, I believe, was with me as we was opening the door. You got the chance to visit with her just a minute. And I apologize for not coming right back out and getting with you then, but I was tired and I needed to use the bathroom, and I laid in bed honestly last night. How in the world am I going to find her? And I got up when I did, and I came down, and you were already down here.
Great.
That's how the trail happens.
Yep, and I recognize your wife too.
Yes.
She was actually her face first, and I was like, you just look so familiar, and it just hit me.
I'm glad
so the two put together.
I'm glad you just said that, because between you and I, when I get in the door, she said, "See, you're famous, Jimmy." It wasn't me, it was her. Thank you, Savage. Thank you, Savage. That's going to make my day. Now, when did you start, Savage?
I started March 7th.
March 7th?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your trail so far, and anything unusual happened, or just anything. You've talked to me a little bit off.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. The weather was rough at first. There was a lot of us hikers, getting off trail due to, the cold and the wet, and the winds. For me, it's the winds that make me a little bit nervous. I don't mind cold, don't mind wet, but I don't like cold and wet. So, but it was cool because it was still just all part of the experience, getting off trail and just getting out of the weather, and then just regroup and get back on. So.
What about your favorite hostel? Do you have a favorite hostel at this point that you've stayed at?
I don't really have a favorite, but Lick Skillet Hostel just keeps standing out because I just love the beauty of that church and the character. It's an old church, and it just has, so much character to it. And Mongo, he's just a sweetheart. But honestly, any hostels I've been at, everybody's wonderful, and they all have their own individual, character. So I haven't had a bad experience.
Good. And you're ex-Marine. I
am.
And you've met several Marines out here this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us something about that. How many? Do you remember any of them?
It's cool to meet, former military Marines such as myself also, and it's just all a common cause. So you just kind of have that, thing in common with each other. But a lot of military, sometimes they don't want to talk about it. They're dealing with other issues and things like that. So I'm just really, unless they start conversation,
And you're doing 17, 20 miles, or what days you told me?
It can be 15 to 22-ish. It just depends on how my body's feeling, time of day, the terrain, elevations. I don't ever really have a plan. I may think I have an idea in my head, what I'm going to do, but I just kind of keep cruising until I either drop or it gets too late.
That's the way to hike. I think that's the perfect way to hike. You put yourself under a lot of pressure when you start saying, I've got to be here, I've got to be there.
Right.
Then you miss a lot of the beauty.
I just like being in the moment. So.
Right. Now, you've already made a comment about watching a lot of videos before you hiked. How important was that for you? And if if somebody's watching now, listening to you, tell them what you think they need to hear.
Yes, honestly, the YouTube video watching and following the vloggers, their pre-hikes, their gear videos, post-gear videos, following their hikes was amazing information for me to be able to dial in on not only the trail but my gear, the more minimal and simple that your gear can be, because you just don't need much at all out here. Then that just makes your hike even that much more better, I would think. You just don't have all that stuff to keep up with.
And all your gear has worked well, or have you had to change out?
No, the only things I've done is sent home winter gear, and but I've not had to replace anything or said, well, I don't like this, so I'm going to get this. Everything's been great for me. But I also tested everything out before starting my through hike on some practice.
And that's very smart to do that. instead of waiting till the day before and just decide to get in your tent, huh?
Yes.
Like
For me,
some have.
definitely. I'm scattered enough. I gotta know, gotta have it all together.
Do you have a time frame that you have to be through other than when they close the mountain?
Nope. No,
Okay.
I do not. I want to get up there before the weather gets wintry to climb
Okay.
Katahdin. My son and my husband, they plan on coming up to Katahdin and summiting with me.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. If I see that the weather's not going to be great, I'm confident with climbing the mountain if it's wintry, but you know, for them it could be a different story. So I have to think of them. So that's when, you know,
Yeah.
an idea of flip-flop could happen.
Sure.
But I'm hoping I can get there before that.
Now you said husband, does he come out or been able to come out any since you've started?
In the very beginning, he met me at Mule Gap, and we just kind of hung out there for a little bit. But
Where are you from?
I'm from Ringgold, Georgia.
Ringo, Georgia. Oh, so you're getting further away from him every
Yes.
mile you hike.
Yep, yep.
It makes it a little harder for them to come out and do that. You're not hiking necessarily with a tramley or a family, what they call them, but you're hiking around a lot of different people, you told me. Is that right?
Yeah. You know, you never know how long you're going to stay, you know, in the same area. But for me, you know, that's the beauty of it. I have met so many wonderful people out here. I got off trail for a couple of weeks. I had to take care of some business at home, and then got back on. So most of the people, you know, I've met, they're, you know, definitely way ahead of me. But at first I thought, oh my gosh, you know, everybody I've met's way ahead. But I look at it, I'm doubly blessed because I'm meeting, you know, even more people. So.
You told me something, it's just come into my mind, so I want to bring it to attention because we might could help or teach somebody something from what we're getting ready to talk about. You came down into Delville and there was a sign down on the ground that said Super 8 closed or full. Let's
Right.
explain that. Maybe somebody's watching that and can get a hint of what we're going to try to teach somebody here.
Yes, the note said Super 8 Motel, no availability, check-in at the Hojo. But it actually had a name, like it was written to somebody. But sometimes when you're getting off trail, you know, as we know, we're tired and we're getting into a town and we just want to get to where we're getting to. So for me, I saw it as, okay, there's no availability there. I knew I was okay because I already had a reservation. But what, to get to it, they evidently had left a note for a friend, for another hiker. So that had happened on the weekend. So there wasn't availability then. They left their note there. I came in on a Monday. So other hikers, you know, may have saw it the same way and just skipped the Super 8 altogether and went straight to the Howard Johnson. So more to the story basically is if you're going to leave something for somebody and it's a done deal, go back and get
Pick it up.
and get your note or whatever it is.
Because the Super 8's a pretty good place to stay.
It's a great place. It's super clean, very nice people, very hiker friendly. Everything works.
Yeah, Wi-Fi, good Wi-Fi.
Great
got a
Wi-Fi.
pool.
Yep, they've got a pool, great laundry.
I think you enjoyed the pool, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did sit out there for a bit and had an adult beverage.
Okay, we'll let that go. So it's raining today, and you're taking a zero.
Yes,
Doesn't that make you smile when it's raining, when you're taking a zero or not?
it's a nice little break, but I don't mind getting
You don't mind
wet,
rain?
really.
Okay.
I don't mind getting wet.
I asked a question the other day, and we'll probably close it out pretty quick. I asked somebody way up north how many days they hiked in the rain. They told me 8. I think they had a memory lapse.
I think so too, because it's well over 8.
Yeah, they're 2 times further than you
Yeah.
already. So I said, I think you need to think about that answer.
Yeah,
So you-
maybe for them. I know not for me.
Yeah, and that's what I say. They've hiked every day. You hike plus more. So I think they had a memory lapse because most hikers, when they get to Delville, is well over 8 days in the rain.
Definitely, especially on the Appalachian Trail.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say to somebody out there, hello, or an encouraging word, or anything you want to say?
For anybody out there hiking, just keep stepping and enjoy it, embrace it all. You know, it's crazy what we go through out there, and then we'll see, you know, day hikers or other people ask us about, you know, our journey, and you know, we're climbing those mountains and our knees hurt, and every day something's hurting, we're wet, we're hot, bugs, and it's like, this is great, you know. And it is. I mean, we just keep loving it. But I do want to tell all of my friends and family at home, thank you so much for y'all's support. I love you to death.
Good
My
deal.
son Jaden, my husband David, Martin, Christy, my mom, so Toby. So you
Okay.
guys are all my love, and it means the world out here having y'all support. So
Good deal. God
bless. I
bless.
love y'all.
God bless every step between here and Katahdin. Make sure when you climb up on that sign and kiss it, you take a good picture and get it back to Mr. Jimmy.
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
I'm here still at Super 8 in Delville. I call another thru hiker attempting a thru hike. Give us your name or trail name or whatever else you want to share with us.
I'm Tuck.
Spell that.
T-U-K.
T-U-K, and the reason I say that, I put it under your face so they can put a name with a face. How'd you get that name, Tuck?
When I do the really hard days or the big climbs, I tuck my shirt in, and it's like business for me. So,
Really?
yeah.
Did you name yourself?
No. One of my buddies that I've been hiking with he started noticing that I did that before because, I don't know, it helps keep my backpack on a little bit tighter, but, so yeah, I'm Tuck.
That's the first time I've ever heard that name, so that's a
Yeah.
good thing too.
Oh, cool.
Nobody's gonna get you mixed up with another Tuck. Did you start by yourself?
Actually, I started with a friend who's staying at the hotel with me here. We've been friends since we were like 10 years old. He's chef, so
Really?
we decided to give it a go together. Together, we're actually called the Dayton Flyers.
Okay.
Um,
Does he have an individual name too?
his name is Chef.
Chef.
Yeah,
Okay, now there's lots of chefs out here.
yeah. He's chef because he cooks for me every night.
Okay.
He likes it. He's interested in making fun, creative meals out here the best he can.
Well, maybe we'll get to find him before we leave for Tennessee.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been thinking about doing this?
I've been thinking about doing it since I was about 14 years old. I did a section in the White Mountains with my dad back then. Stayed in the
Wow.
huts.
So you know about the mountains that's coming up.
I do. I actually went to school in Maine, so I'm quite familiar with the Northeast.
Does that excite you?
Yeah, I'm very excited about. Well, really, right now I'm focusing on Virginia because Virginia's so long. But I'm really excited about New England. I think the weather will be a little bit nicer when we get up there. The mountains are harder, but it's better views.
Yes.
And, I have a lot of friends in the Northeast, so I'm very excited about getting some help out there.
Now your friend, he's also from where you are?
Yeah,
Y'all-
we're both from Orlando, Florida.
Wow, kind of flat in Orlando.
It is very flat in Orlando, but I spent about 4 years in Maine in college doing some hiking very frequently. And all of my family trips for the past 20 years have been, involved going to hike in the Northeast or, around the country.
So are you out of college now and will get a job after you get through hiking, or you'll have all that planned out, or what?
So currently I just graduated college about a month and a half ago, and currently I'm looking for a job right now on the trail. I'm taking interviews at hostels and
What
places
kind of-
along the way.
What kind of job you're looking for?
Jobs in finance, as well as consulting.
Okay, cool, that's real good. What's your family think about you being out here?
They at first thought it was kind of a dumb idea. They just sort of thought I was, making up this like elaborate dream that I was never going to follow through on. But now that I've gotten, I guess, 729 miles in, I mean, it's pretty serious. So they're really excited about it now. They just sent me a package with some fun things in it, and my grandparents are really excited about it. I talk to my dad and my mom and my brother pretty frequently, so they're very much in the loop and very excited about it. I think they're going to come join me in the Shenandoahs for a little bit.
Wow,
My girlfriend who lives in DC she came out for a few days a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to go see her in DC, and she's going to come out for a few more days. So everyone is pretty into it, I think. They don't really understand exactly what it entails because no one does really.
not till they come out and hike with you for a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they go, oh wow.
And those are, we're doing a lot less miles with them than we are with ourselves.
What are you normally comfortably doing mileage per day when you're just by yourselves, you and your friend?
Past week or so, we've been doing about 25 a day.
25. Any hostel that stands out in your mind behind you that you've stayed at?
Angel's Rest was fantastic.
Angel's Rest, yeah.
I really enjoyed the amenities there were great.
Mhm.
The facilities were very clean. everyone was really nice, and it was just very well organized. I think one of the things, some of the hostels that I feel like I stay at, they're not as organized as they can be, which is understandable given the flexibility of through hikers. But yeah, it was really nice. I got some chiropractic work while I was there.
What about in Irwin, Tennessee? Where did you stay? Do you remember?
Cantarosa Farms. That was a great place.
Yeah.
I love that.
And a lot of hikers don't stay there, and I don't understand that because it's a neat place.
It's a neat place, and it's the same price as a bunk at Uncle Johnny's.
Yeah. I agree.
We were actually there for 4 days. I got food poisoning.
From where?
I was in Irwin. From some blueberries, I think, that I ate. I didn't wash them, and I think they were from the grocery store.
Wow.
I think they just sort of, they got me. But so I was at Cantarosa Farm and Inn for 4 days, and that place was amazing. It took really good care of us. Really nice, and very thorough.
When do you expect to summit? Do you have a thought about that at all?
We're ramping up our pace quite a bit recently, so we're trying to get there before September 1st.
Oh, really?
We'd like to really push.
Okay.
We've been trying to figure out, like, we've had some problems with our bodies. We got food poisoning for a few days.
Both of y'all got food poisoning?
We both got food poisoning.
Okay, so you can narrow it down to something you ate, like the blueberries.
Yeah. So we're just trying to get our bodies are feeling right, and we're ready to push. And my friend, he's got to go back to college anyway, so he's got to get back before September 1st, so we're going to try to get as far as we can.
Okay. What's been the best thing about being out here? Can you put your finger on anything that...
I really like I love hiking. Like, I don't know, I love the headspace you get to be in out here. I think you get a lot of time to reflect, but also just like explore different thoughts and ideas out here when you're walking.
You have a lot of time to think.
Yeah, and people out here are really cool. I don't know, I love testing myself physically and the views too. So I honestly, I would say it's everything.
What about up in front of you, Tuck? Have you done very much research as far as some places you're looking forward to other than the Whites, because you've been at the Whites?
I'm very excited for the Shenandoahs.
Okay.
I've heard great things about that. I'm excited for New York. I think it's supposed to be really beautiful out there.
It is. We just came from there yesterday.
The Adirondacks.
Yeah,
really cool.
We just came from there.
I'm excited to be north. I want to get through Virginia. I think the Green Tunnel is getting to me a little bit now.
Longest state. Yeah.
So I think once we get to Pennsylvania, everything ahead after Pennsylvania seems really great. I've heard mixed reviews about Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's got a lot of rocks.
I heard it's really pretty, but it is.
It is.
Really rocky.
It is.
I have bad feet, so I worry about Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, you'll remember Pennsylvania when you get through it for sure, and you'll look back and say, I'm glad I'm out of it. But you came down yesterday?
Yes.
And so are you taking a 0 today, or are you hiking out?
Yes. Came down yesterday. I did 26 before 3 o'clock. My body's exhausted today.
So you're taking a 0?
So I'm going to take a 0 here.
How
this
does
is
it...
the first real hotel that I've stayed at.
Really?
Like 700 miles. So.
How many 0s have you taken?
I've taken a good amount of 0s. Probably like a week and a half worth of 0s.
Okay. That's good.
But I haven't stayed at a place where I could have my own room and
it's really nice. You got good Wi-Fi and good. Now let me ask you a real quick question about the weather.
Yeah.
When my wife thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail and they stayed in a hotel and it was raining outside, they would almost jump up and down and say, "We beat you today."
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Would you rather be in the hotel when it's raining, or do you?
Oh yeah, I'm always yelling at Zeus out there, and he punishes me. I feel like.
Okay.
I get out there. I mean, the rain is it's a different animal when you're hiking.
And how many days do you think, off the cuff, that you would answer? How many days of rain have you hiked in since you started, if you had to guess right now?
Probably about 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Because a guy answered me the other day, you're going to find this interesting. I talked to a guy at mile 1400. I said, how many days have you hiked in the rain? Off the cuff, he said 8. I said, I think you're missing something.
Yeah,
He's had to hike more than 8 days in the rain.
I think the bubble before I started, they hit 23 days straight of rain.
Yeah.
and we started a little bit later than them and caught them pretty quick. But we got like 2.5 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah,
It's like a
that's
fair,
nice. That's pretty normal. Are you on your second pair of shoes, or are you still on your first?
Second pair of shoes. I need a third pair now.
Third pair already?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wore through my Ultras really quick.
Okay, that's good information.
I'm gonna try to get them in DC. But yeah, I had some Brooks Calderas.
Uh-huh.
Those are great shoes. I love them. But I switched to Ultras because I heard they're wider.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna go back to Brooks because they're really, I mean, for my foot, it's just better shoe.
If you had one piece of advice, somebody watching this that's going to hike it next year, what would you say that piece of advice would be?
Spend 2 weeks in the woods before you commit to it.
I like that advice. You want to say hello or anything to anybody before we cut it off?
Hi mom, hi dad.
That's always works. Gets more money sent out sometimes too.
Dad, I need all the support I can get. So. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you for coming outside and taking a break from breakfast here in Delville at the Super 8 Hotel, and God bless every step between here and Katahdin.